with you where sports meets that thing called life. It is the Fantasy Football Power Hour here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. An unprecedented Week 18 of fantasy football as the NFL has added a week. There used to be 17 weeks, 16 games per team. Now there's 18 weeks, 17 games per every single one of the 32 NFL franchises. So we have the entire docket right here, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. 7 days a week open for you for indoor dining, and of course their full bar and their private dining area where you can reserve in their entire party room. You could take a piece of it or all of it for whatever you have going on, and they have a giant screen in there. A lot of great stuff and a lot of great atmosphere for all these moments, including the NFL games that you can watch. And of course you can call them for takeout and delivery at 315-487-2222. So without further ado, let's bring in the man of the hour, Mr. Sofka. How are we doing?
Doing wonderful. How are you, Dan?
We're doing very well. And Mike, we're just going to hop right into it. We have 16 games to go through here. Week 18. First and foremost for you, Mike, now that we're making history, what's it like to say welcome to Week 18 of the NFL for the first time ever?
It's the same thing as we used to say in Week 17. Congratulations on your championship, or better luck next year. I mean, for most leagues are over at this point, so it's a matter of fun at this point. If you have a championship this week, we're to help as well. But I'm playing some daily stuff. I had a great daily week last week. I won everything I touched. I was like the Midas guy. I couldn't stop winning. It was wonderful.
Awesome. Well, let's hop right into it here. We know the NFL has taken the opportunity to change up the schedule a little bit, and so they put some Saturday games on the docket, Saturday, January 8th, and we're going to see Kansas City at Denver in an afternoon game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, Kansas City, is a team that was able to, lock down something for themselves. They clinched a division, so I'm not sure they have much to play for here. So, I'm kind of tripping on this one, but still, these guys are going to play. Patrick Mahomes, number 3 quarterback on the ranking this week, and on the other side of the ball, not so much. I'm staying away from that whole train wreck of Bridgewater, Lock, and that's damaged the rest of the team as well here, fantasy-wise. Looking at the running back situation, doesn't look like Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to make it. Darrell Williams checks in at number 19 on the ranking. Javonte Williams, number 20, and Melvin Gordon, number 29. Going over the wide receivers, I'm not really playing any wide receiver from Denver. Maybe a Cortland Sutton, but he's an emergency flex. I got him ranked in the 40s. Tyreek Hill, of course, top 10 all year, usually top 5. This week, number 7. And looking at the tight end position, Travis Kelce, number 2. And, Denver's Noah Fant. He's this year, so up and down. He was injured at one point. He's number 9 this week. And looking at this game, I don't see how KC doesn't win this game, so I'm going to go with Chiefs.
Yeah, Kansas City, you would think where they're at right now. I mean, like you said, what they're doing and where they're heading, a team that's found their footing again, thank goodness, for Chiefs fans, but finding a way to move themselves forward. Pat Mahomes, he's a competitor. He's going to be out there doing his thing. Denver has been eliminated from the playoffs, so they don't have anything that they're going for here, unfortunately. I mean, but you want to get your opportunities there. You want to get out there and show the team why you should be the guy. I mean, Javonte Williams has value, and Melvin Gordon has value, because I would imagine there could be some changes after this season with those two gentlemen, depending on, Javonte, I imagine, is going to be there as he is a rookie, but what are they going to do with Melvin Gordon is a question that comes up here, and so it'll be interesting to see what they do. But Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all worth the play. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been underwhelming. He's also been injured, and he has a shoulder injury, so they may just make sure that they button that up and keep him off the field. He doesn't need to play in this game, so there's no reason to put him out there and put him into harm's way. So I would imagine that staying away from him would probably be a good bet. On Denver's side, there's a ton of guys that are on the report right now. Teddy Bridgewater with a concussion, Drew Lock with a shoulder injury at the quarterback position, thumb injury for Melvin Gordon, Javonte has a knee injury, Andrew Beck, their fullback, is on injured reserve with an elbow injury. Jerry Jeudy is on the COVID-19 list. Tim Patrick is on the COVID-19 list. Noah Fant is in a situation right now where he has a quad injury. So there's really nobody to play on Denver. There is some value on Kansas City, but as we said before, Kansas City doesn't need this one, so that's something for you to watch. Next one that we have up here, Mike, is the other Saturday game that the NFL decided to shift there, and that's Dallas at Philadelphia. What do you got?
Yeah, this is an interesting game. There's going to be some value here. There's no value in Zeke Elliott, though. He killed me last week, brother. In championship week, he killed me. Anyway, looking at the quarterback situation here, these quarterbacks both rank about the same. They're both ranked top 10. They've been top 10 all year. Jalen Hurts, number 7. Dak Prescott, number 8. Zeke, again, you killed me, bro. You killed me, number 15 this week. And on the other side of the ball, it's very committee-oriented here. And Miles Sanders probably not going to make the game here. Boston Scott, he's been spotty. Jordan Howard's not been healthy. Kenneth Gainwell has all but disappeared. All these guys are in the 40s and 50s on the rankings, so I'm staying away from that situation here. Looking at the wide receivers, of course, we're looking at CeeDee Lamb, number 13 on the ranking. Looking at Amari Cooper, number 23. On the other side, Devonta Smith is your best option at number 31. And looking at the Dalton Schultz, number 6 on the ranking here. And I think Dallas Goedert's a very touchdown-dependent guy this week. Number 23 on the ranking. I'm looking at this game, and I don't see how the Cowboys can lose, even though it's on the road, and even though they're basically not playing for anything. They clinched the division already. The Cowboys have. The Eagles have clinched a playoff spot. So, again, just be careful with that stuff. Try not to depend on these guys too much in daily if you can help it. And God help you if this is your championship week. But I'm going to go with Cowboys.
Yeah, looking at this matchup, Dallas, like you said, locked up the division. Philadelphia, believe it or not, made the playoffs here. Some people, Philadelphia didn't look that great this year. They looked okay at certain times, and they found a way to get themselves into the playoffs. Jalen Hurts doing what he can to give you fantasy value. Looking at this one, maybe Dallas takes a lead and puts out Cooper Rush or Will Grier to end this thing. They got to be smart about this. One of the guys that has some value here, if some guys are going to rest a little bit, is Cedric Wilson, who was involved in a bunch of different plays down the stretch for the Cowboys to have a fighting chance to come within 3 of Arizona, 25-22. So he's somebody to look at as a flex guy. Dalton Schultz, CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper and Zeke Elliott, all worth the play. But again, temper these expectations. Tony Pollard has a foot injury. And on Philadelphia's side of things, we have injuries all over the running back room. There's an ankle injury to Jalen Hurts, so Gardner Minshew may get some time out there. Miles Sanders has a hand injury. Boston Scott's on the COVID-19 list, and so is Jordan Howard. Devontae Smith has some value here. Dallas Goedert on the COVID-19 list. So is Jack Stoll and Jason Kroom. So all but one of their tight ends, Tyree Jackson. So I would look for Gardner Minshew in this one, which may mean that Jalen Reagor and Greg Ward and JJ might get some opportunities here with their backup quarterback out there. Some of the guys that are maybe down the depth chart that practice with him a little bit more. So we shall see. There's some fantasy value here, but not like it was. There's more on the side of Dallas. I'm going to lean on Dallas to win the game, but again, this is one of those games where things have been wrapped up for both teams. You don't want to injure your players, especially Jalen Hurts. Cincinnati at Cleveland, the first Sunday game. What do you got?
Yeah, this is an interesting game for me because I think, neither team really has anything to play for. Cincinnati's clinched everything they can do right now, and then the Browns are basically done. Baker Mayfield going to have shoulder surgery immediately. Not going to put it off being already eliminated. Case Keenum's going to be your quarterback, so I'm not rolling with Case Keenum. Number 22 on the rankings, Joe Burrow's, had a big week past couple weeks here, won people a lot of money. Joe Burrow, number 12, just because I don't think he's going to play the whole game here. Looking at the running back situation, Joe Mixon, number 8. Nick Chubb, number 11 on the rankings. And Jamar Chase, huge week last week, won people a ton of money. broke all kinds of records for himself. Number 9 on the ranking this week. I look for them to scale that back just a tiny bit. Tyler Boyd, 35. On the other side of the field, Jarvis Landry checks in at number 36 on the ranking. And then looking at the tight end position, I'm not real excited about a C.J. Uzomah at 16 or a David Njoku or Austin Hooper in the high teens, early 20s here. So I'm staying away there. Not a lot of value here, but a little bit of spotty value if you're careful when you're choosing here on daily with respect to salary. I'm going to take Cincinnati just because they have the better team.
Yeah, Cleveland is, the question mark of Baker Mayfield and his future with the team, I think, is still a question mark now. Maybe even more so than it was. And so, Cleveland is not in the place that they want to be in by any stretch of the imagination. Cincinnati is. Cincinnati is pulling things off in such a big way right now. Joe Burrow showed a lot of positive signs last year, and he's only continued that into this season, and God bless has stayed healthy this season, as last year he had to go through some injury as a rookie, which kind of stunted the fact that he was having some really strong fantasy play. So, I think this is another one where Cincinnati doesn't have to be in a situation where they need to put Joe out there. They might want to rest him. He's got a leg injury, so that could put Brandon Allen out there. I think Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase are hard to keep off, and especially if Joe Burrow is playing, but definitely Joe Mixon, with or without Burrow. Jamar Chase has value too, and T. Higgins as a wide receiver 3. On the other side of it, for Cleveland, they got nothing to play for but the fact that this is a rivalry, and Case Keenum looking to get the start. Nick Chubb is on the injury report again. Kareem Hunt is still on the injury report. So I don't like anybody on Cleveland. I'd stay away from them. Maybe if you have to go Jarvis Landry, but I really don't feel good about the situation that we're currently in right now for these Cleveland Browns. I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals to win the game. Next one up here, Mike, we have the Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. Green Bay just wrapped up number 1 in the NFC. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Green Bay, the only team out of all the teams in the NFL that have clinched that first-round bye. On the other side of the AFC, they got some work to do for a couple teams if they want that bye. And I can't think of a worse place to play this time of year than Green Bay. So hats off to them for getting that done. That's going to be a tremendous advantage for them in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers, number 6 on the rankings this week. Jared Goff, not so much. Going on the running back side here, Aaron Jones, number 12 on the rankings. A.J. Dillon still getting it done somehow. He was spotty for a couple weeks there, but he's a touchdown-dependent guy. He's a red zone guy, number 25 on the rankings. DeAndre Swift checks in at number 13 if you need to use him. And looking at the wide receiver situation, Devontae Adams is just the man. He's up there. Again, Cooper Kupp's having this weird year, like he's from another planet, and Devontae Adams is right there behind him. He's number 2 on the ranking this week. Looking at the tight end position, well, not so much. T.J. Hawkinson's gone. Green Bay, Josiah DeGuara, I'm not playing him. I'm staying away from the tight ends in this game. And looking at this game, again, I'm just going to go with the better team overall. I'm going to go with Green Bay.
Yeah, Detroit could steal one here because Green Bay doesn't have any concern as far as getting in the playoffs and being the number 1 seed, as Mike discussed. So you got to watch out for that in Motor City. But as far as Green Bay goes, Jordan Love could get some love in this game, get an opportunity to get out there and get rocking and rolling. And so, I would say Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are your best bets here, especially A.J. Dillon to get some more time out there as they get ready. On Detroit's side, DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown, not bad plays to put out there. But Jared Goff, mind you, hasn't done that well this season, is questionable with a knee injury, which gives David Blau and Tim Boyle opportunities. So Amon-Ra and DeAndre Swift, I would say, are your best bet. The running backs for Green Bay on the other side, I'm going with the Green Bay Packers because they're the better team. So I'm going to have that as they should put them out there. The next one that we have up here is Chicago and Minnesota. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, Andy Dalton is just, not a very good quarterback, and that's who's going to be quarterback in the Bears here. So I'm not going to be starting him. He's way down on the ranking there. And Minnesota, of course, Mr. Mendoza of the past, Kirk Cousins, seems to always have something up his sleeve, and that's because he's got some great receivers. I'll get to that in a minute. But Kirk Cousins, number 11 on the ranking. He also has a great running back, Dalvin Cook, number 2 on the ranking here. And Chicago has a pretty good running back who's, supposedly back healthy now. He looks like it whenever I see him. I'm not sure if anybody can outdo David Montgomery this week. He's a top 5 this week as well. Looking at the wide receiver position, Justin Jefferson. This guy's just having a phenomenal year. And again, if it wasn't for Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams, we'd be talking all about Justin Jefferson, number 3 on the rankings. And, just because of the quarterback situation in Chicago, I'm not sure I'm starting a wide receiver from Chicago. But if I am, it's going to be Darnell Mooney, who's number 27 on the rankings. Looking at the tight end position here, Cole Kmet, number 14. So surely there's some better options out there for you. And Minnesota has Tyler Conklin at number 11 this week. And again, I'm just going to go with the better team here. I'm going to go with the team I think is better in their home, Minnesota, the Vikings. So I'm going to take the Vikings for the win.
Yeah, a lot of these divisional matchups are making it fun for this week, but when teams have already locked up playoff spots, they don't have the same feel to them because, just like players sitting out bowl games, we kind of have that feel to this week, even though there's a lot of rivalries inside of divisions. Chicago's got something to play for in the sense of for next season. And, if Andy Dalton's under center for you with an injured Justin Fields, I don't like that situation. David Montgomery's worth the play. Darnell Mooney's taken over number 1 role. Good for him out of Tulane, a team that I've covered for the better part of a decade. So, if you want to go with Mooney and Montgomery, I can understand that. On Minnesota's side of things, as we take a look at, this playoff scenario right now, Minnesota has been eliminated as well. So, them and the Bears both not going into the playoffs. So, Minnesota's Kirk Cousins is on the report right now on the COVID-19 list, so just watch that. And so Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson definitely have value in this game, more Dalvin Cook in this matchup. But, he might want to tone it down a little bit, knowing that he's got a hopeful long career ahead of him, and he doesn't need to do anything to himself in a game that is not going to count toward the playoffs. So, with that being said, I'm going with Minnesota. Washington has announced on Groundhog's Day on 2/2/22 that they'll finally have a logo and a name. Thank freaking goodness. So with that, and that's also going to be on National Signing Day. So National Signing Day Part 2, Groundhog Day, and Washington Release Day. Before that happens, Washington will try to release some type of positive at the end of the season against the Giants on the road. What do you got?
Yeah, there's not a lot of value in this game. I don't even know why anyone would watch this game. Neither team's playing for nothing. There's not a lot of fantasy value here either on either side of the ball. I'm staying away from most all positions here. Maybe, just maybe, I'm playing a Saquon Barkley. Thanks for nothing this season, sir. 21 on the ranking. And Antonio Gibson, who, has been playing with a broken leg, since for a long time here, number 10 on the ranking. I'm pretty much staying away from the wide receivers here. I'm staying away from the tight ends here. Staying away. I'm going to take Washington on the road because I think they're a better team.
Yeah, Washington against the Giants, I do agree with you. They are a better team. They've done some good things this season. They've defeated Tom Brady as well this year in the Bucs, and that says a lot about Ron Rivera and this Washington team. The Giants have defeated no one but themselves for the most part this year. So the ultimate feel for this is to stay away from the Giants. Saquon not being healthy pissed everybody off last year. And then this year coming back and having a slow start made people think, oh, okay, well, at least we got him back. And him being back has shown that it really hasn't done anything. The Giants have not been effective. He hasn't been effective. So we've essentially not had Saquon for 2 years now. On the other side of it, Antonio Gibson is hurt, which gives on the COVID-19 list, which gives Jarrett Patterson from UB, University of Buffalo, an opportunity to get out there. So Patterson could be a sneaky flex or someone you could use in daily. Terry McLaurin has some value as well. The Giants don't have anything, in my opinion. I'm going with Washington in this matchup. Next game up that we have, Mike, is going to be our matchup between Indianapolis and Jacksonville, which I will be on site on location for. The fans allegedly maybe wearing clown suits to try and tell Shad Khan how they feel in Jacksonville. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, wow, I didn't get the clown suit memo. I'll have to get out my horn and red wig and red nose here. Yeah, this is a game that Indianapolis has something to play for. They have an opportunity to make the playoffs here. So they're number 15 on the ranking as far as quarterback goes this week. Carson Wentz, number 15. Jacksonville, not so much. Trevor Lawrence is just throwing like 2 touchdowns and like the whole season. It's just the whole thing's a train wreck. He's a much more talented guy than that. Looking at the running back situation, Jonathan Taylor's the guy. He's been the running back all year. He's just phenomenal. Every aspect of his game is good, and I don't know why you would ever take this guy off the field. Jonathan Taylor, number 1 running back. On the other side of the ball for Jacksonville, Dare Ogunbowale, number 26 on the ranking. I know you're impressed with my pronunciation there.
Very much
looking
so.
At the looking at the wide receivers here, I'm not real excited about any wide receiver on either team. Maybe a Michael Pittman at number 26 on the rankings, and tight end, again, there's no value anywhere on the field here. I'm going to go with Indianapolis because they've got something to play for.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, it's been awful for Jacksonville all year this year. I mean, we're looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars in prime positioning to get the number 1 pick, if not the number 1 pick, the number 2 pick. Right now, they're currently in line to have the number 1 pick. The Colts have something to play for. As we spoke about here, the Colts have an opportunity. And shout out to the Titans, who are in first place in the AFC, sans Derrick Henry. And not for a week or two, for like half the season. So congratulations to the hard work, effort, and enthusiasm. Not put that on the coaches, because the next man up approach is working. The system is working. Without your best offensive player, you've not only made the playoffs, but right now you have a first-round bye. Fan-freaking-tastic. The Colts, like we said, are playing for something, so Wentz has some value in this game, especially against a subpar Jacksonville defense that gave up 50 points to Mac Jones last week. Not Tom Brady, Mac Jones's Patriots. Jonathan Taylor has value in Michael Pittman as well. Jack Doyle might get some action because Jacksonville will struggle against the tight end. And then as far as Trevor Lawrence, he has the now single-season franchise record for passing yards, passing Gardner Minshew, which I believe he did by having a 40-yard pass that gave him 3,281 to Gardner's 3,271. And so shout out to Trevor Lawrence for that. He should not be your number 1 quarterback. If it is, you're not winning. You're not playing this in the championship. I know that's not happening. Raekwon Armstead, I'm happy he's back on the team, but there's no fantasy value on Jacksonville. I'm going with the Colts in this. And before we take our first step aside, Mike, Pitt at Baltimore. What do you got?
Yeah, this is a game I'm going to watch. This is a game that excites me. This is a game where both teams have something to play for. There's some interesting storylines here. Quarterback, too. Ben Roethlisberger, all but saying he's done. I think he put his heart and soul and everything into that last home game there. And I think this is going to be a letdown game for him. I think he's done. Ben Roethlisberger, number 19 on the ranking here. Looks like Tyler Huntley's going to make the start again for Baltimore, number 14. But, look out for Lamar Jackson trying to nurse his way back, number 21 on the rankings this week. So I think if Lamar Jackson plays, the Ravens are definitely going to win. But I think they're going to win either way. Going over to the running back situation, Pittsburgh has the best running back on the field, Najee Harris, number 3 on the ranking. And looking at Baltimore, Devonta Freeman's been doing a yeoman's job, based on his age and everything else and what's around him. Number 23 on the ranking this week. Deontay Johnson, he's having a heck of a year as well. Number 4 on the ranking. And Marquise Hollywood-Brown's one of those guys that always seems to get your points. He looks like he's having a bad game, and all of a sudden he breaks one for 50 yards. They'll need him this week if they're going to win. Marquise Brown, number 18 on the rankings. And going to tight end, Pat Freiermuth has come on strong at mid to late season here. Number 10 on the rankings. And Mark Andrews is the best tight end on the field here, if not in the NFL right now. Number 1 on the ranking this week. I'm looking for the Ravens to win this one and take themselves to the playoffs.
Both of these teams are still in the hunt for a playoff berth. Baltimore gets it with a win, plus a Chargers loss, plus an Indianapolis loss, plus a Miami loss or tie. They need all those things to happen and I don't see Indianapolis losing to Jacksonville. Pittsburgh needs the same thing. They need to win. They need an Indianapolis loss, and they need a Las Vegas Los Angeles Chargers game to not end in a tie. So the Steelers have more of a road to get there, but both of these teams need the Colts to lose in order to advance to the playoffs, which I don't see happening, which is sad for Big Ben in what looks to be his final season. So with that being said, on Pitt's side of things, Big Ben in this game, he'll be playing his heart out, but I think the fantasy value goes to Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson and to Pat Freiermuth. On the Baltimore Ravens side, Lamar Jackson's tried to get out there, but it has not been happening. He's got an ankle injury. You'd think he'd want to play in a game that matters so much. We'll see. But the value is with Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews. I feel better about Baltimore than I feel about the Steelers, so I'm going to go with Baltimore in this one. However, I would love to see Big Ben get one more crack at the playoffs. I just don't see a road where the Colts lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll do one more before a fast break. Tennessee at Houston. What do you got?
Yeah, Tennessee is, like you said before, really done a heck of a job without Derrick Henry. They've been without two receivers, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, for a lot of that time as well. So hats off to them. Ryan Tannehill, hasn't looked great because of those issues, but, he's number 17 on the ranking this week. Going over to the Texans, Davis Mills, I'm not overly excited about. He's way down on the list. You're not starting him anywhere. Looking at the running back situation, running back's been, kind of a committee type approach. Dontrell Hilliard and Donta Foreman have been getting it done. Donta Foreman, number 22 on the rankings, and Houston, not so much. I'm not playing anybody over there. I just can't get my head around a Rex Burkhead at number 36 on the ranking. Looking at the wide receiver position, again, like I said before, A.J. Brown's been gone for a lot of the time here as Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown's number 6 on the ranking. Julio Jones not showing up anywhere here, done. Looking at the wide receiver on the other side, Brandon Cooks is the one guy you can start for Houston, number 19 on the ranking. And over at tight end, I'm not real excited about playing anybody on either side of the ball here. Maybe a Brevin Jordan, who's been making his name known now at number 20 on the ranking. And as far as this game goes, I don't see, again, Tennessee is the better team here. So that's who you got to go with at this time, Tennessee.
Yeah, the Tennessee Titans in this one, obviously a better team, and looking at a situation where when we look at their scenario and where the Titans have to be in this, for the Titans, all they need is to win, or they win and Kansas City loses or ties, or a Kansas City loss plus a Cincinnati loss or tie plus a New England loss or tie, or a Kansas City loss plus a Cincinnati loss or tie and a Buffalo win. 4 different ways that Tennessee will lock up the number 1 seed in this year's playoffs. Crazy to believe that they're doing this without Derrick Henry, but big ups to them and big ups to, again, Mike Vrabel and what he's done as a coach to see this team be where they're at right now, when I think most people would have anticipated that this team would maybe not even make the playoffs, let alone be the number 1 seed. So shout out to the Tennessee Titans for the work they put forward. And it's not just them being in a not so great division, because they still had to lead all the other divisions in the AFC, and they've been doing that. So big shout out to Tennessee and the work that they put forward this year, which has been truly remarkable. With that being said, on their side of it, with Ryan Tannehill going up against Houston, he's got some value as a low-end quarterback 1. Donta Foreman has some value too, playing up against Houston. A.J. Brown definitely has some value. Julio Jones back at it, coming off the COVID-19 list. There are some remnants of those that last with the players as far as, breathing and whatnot and just not feeling lethargic. And Julio Jones has played kind of lethargic before all this happened. So I put the value in A.J. Brown. On Houston's side of it, I like that Davis Mills is out there. I'm excited to see him and what his future can be. Brandon Cooks has a little bit of value, but there's really nothing to write home about when it comes to Houston. I got Tennessee winning this matchup. And with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. When Mike and I come back, we'll be bringing you more of the NFL as we get set for Week 18, an unprecedented week in the regular season of the NFL history, all inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Order your food at 315-487 2222 for takeout or delivery. And, of course, you could dine in 7 days a week at 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk. Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. From inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, you're hanging out with us on the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Proud to be with you inside of these wonderful times that we have with Week 18. 18 weeks, an unprecedented time in the NFL, which means an unprecedented fantasy football conversation that Mike and I get to have here. But you know Mike and I are here with you every single Wednesday in and out of the regular season. So it's not like it changes anything for us. We just have more games to talk about. So with that being said, let's get into those games that we have to talk about. Mike, next one up on the docket, New Orleans at the Falcons. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, there's some spotty value here you may find in DFS if you pick the as might be Taysom Hill because of what he can do with his legs as well. Number 9 on the rankings. Matt Ryan, not so much, down in the 20s, number 24 on the rankings. Looking at the running back situation, Cordero Patterson's been having a heck of a year. You know, this is a nine-year guy who's having a breakout season. You don't hear that too often. And, of course, on the other side of the ball, Alvin Kamara, number 6 on the rankings for running backs. Not real excited about any wide receivers in this game. Maybe Russell Gage at number 25 for Atlanta. And looking at the tight end situation here, still question on Kyle Pitts this week. So he only needs like 59 yards to beat the rookie record set by Mike Ditka back like in the 60s or 70s. A lot of people weren't even born yet that are listening to this. anyway. Not a lot of value in this game, but I do like the Saints to win this one.
Yeah, the Saints, believe it or not, are still alive in the playoffs. Atlanta's been eliminated. In order for the Saints to make the playoffs, they would need to win and for the Niners to lose. So with everything that's gone on, and there's 72 different quarterbacks they've had, the Saints still have a chance to make the playoffs, which means that Taysom Hill has more value in this game, Alvin Kamara as well. And as far as receivers go, it's tough pickings for the Saints as what we're doing here. However, the fact that Marquez Callaway is nearing the century mark here, so look to that. Marquez Callaway worth a flex for you. Kamara and Taysom Hill worth the play. On Atlanta's side of things, they got nothing to lose. The thought is, how long will Matt Ryan be their quarterback? So Cordero Patterson, like Mike said, with some value here. Kyle Pitts on the injury report with a hamstring injury, so they may just pack that in for him, giving Russell Gage maybe a little bit more as a wide receiver 4. I'm going with the Saints in this matchup. They have something to play for, as Mike and I have been talking about with a bunch of these games. Next one up, the Jets at the Bills. What do you got?
Yeah, this is a thing of two teams going two opposite directions here. Buffalo's favored by 16.5 points. Josh Allen's just been one of the top quarterbacks all year. Of course, you know that if he's on your team or if you've been playing him in daily fantasy, he's been crushing it some weeks. Number 1 on the quarterback ranking this week. The Jets, not so much. Zach Wilson way down on the bottom. I'm staying away. Looking at the running back situation, it's almost the same thing. Nothing really to speak of. Maybe a committee approach by the Jets. Meanwhile, Devin Singletary checks in at number 14 on the ranking. Stephon Diggs been a top 5 receiver most of the year, number 5 this week. Again, the Jets not so much. And going over to tight end, same thing. Dawson Knox, top 10, number 7. Jets not so much. I'm staying away from the Jets. The Bills are going to win at home.
Yeah, and the Bills need everything in this game because they need to win to clinch the AFC East and have their at least first game be a home game here. They have an opportunity to win the AFC East if they win, or the New England Patriots lose, or Buffalo ties and New England ties. So if Buffalo wins, they take care of business. That's the easiest route to get there. That's the route that you want to be in, as Buffalo almost lost the division to the Patriots. Now they have a chance to gain it back, and they're doing it against a team who hasn't gained much of anything in the last few years. There's not a lot of value on the side of the New York Jets, so I'm not even going to touch it. Buffalo, Josh Allen is a yes. Stephon Diggs is a yes. Dawson Knox is a yes. Devin Singletary is a lower end 2, higher end 3 at running back. And Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis, not bad here to put them out, as Gabe Davis has had some opportunities. He's been up and down, and so is Cole Beasley. I lean more on the side of Gabe. He could give you a little fantasy boost and give you something that maybe is an extra Christmas gift that you didn't realize was under the tree when you took the Christmas tree out and put it on the front lawn. So that could be something there for you. I got the Buffalo Bills winning this one, locking up the AFC East. They are in control, and they need to take care of business in this one. San Francisco at the Rams. We know that the Saints need the Niners to lose. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is going to be a good game to watch as well. Both teams still have a little something to play for. The Rams have clinched a spot, though. Looking at the 49ers here, the 49ers have turned to Trey Lance here recently, and well, that's just because Garoppolo was dinged up. But Trey Lance is the future as far as they drafted him really high for a reason, and Garoppolo's not going to be under contract this next year. Trey Lance, number 25 on the ranking. Should Garoppolo make the game right now? He's number 31 because I don't think he's going to make that. The Rams, though, have the opposite problem. They have a pretty good quarterback in Matt Stafford, although he has at times channeled his inner Jameis Winston, leading the league in pick sixes. He's number 10 on the ranking. Looking at the running back situation, Elijah Mitchell, when this guy's healthy, he's obviously the lead back for the Niners. Number 18 this week. Sony Michel has been turning it on recently, and this is what happens when you get a guy who's got talent and you keep giving him the rock. when you split up and fractured and there's committees involved, not so much. And Sony Michel showing up. He's number 9 this week on the ranking. Looking over at the wide receiver position, this is where it's separated a little bit because both teams have that one stud guy. Cooper Kupp's been phenomenal this year, number 1 on the ranking most of the year. And that's because he's number 1 most weeks. Deebo Samuel, a top 10 guy all week, checking in at number 10 on the rankings here. And over at tight end, of course, George Kittle's usually steady Eddie. He's been spotty and injured this year. This week, he's number 3 on the rankings. And the Rams' Tyler Higbee's been flirting with that top 10, checking in at number 13. I'm going to take the Rams at home.
Yeah, both of these teams in the driver's seat as far as the playoffs go. If the Niners want to get in the playoffs, all they have to do is win or tie, or New Orleans loses or ties. New Orleans needs to win and for San Fran to lose. San Fran needs one or the other. They can either win or tie, or New Orleans can win or lose or tie. For the Rams, they clinch the NFC West with a win or a tie, or Arizona losing or tying. So it's between the Rams and Arizona, and they're in the driver's seat to win that division. So just so you know where things are at as we step into things, Sony Michel, this man's been up and down and around the corner, but he's scored a rushing touchdown in each of the last 2 weeks. He had 131 yards on December 26th, 74 on January 2nd, and he has scored 3 times in the last 5 weeks on the ground. So there's some value there, of course, with him. On San Francisco's side of it, Trey Lance will eventually be the guy. We know that, like Mike said, they put him first there. They got something to play for. Trey Lance could make it interesting. And if you got like a Jalen Hurts who may not be going out there, then maybe Trey Lance is the value that you go forward with here. Deebo Samuel brings you some value, and Brandon Ayuk as well. Jeff Wilson and Elijah Mitchell, you talk about eating each other. That's what they're doing, so I lean more on the side of George Kittle. On the other side of it, Matty Stafford, Sony Michel, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Tyler Higbee, all worth the play. Van Jefferson worth the flex. The more value is on the Rams side in fantasy, and in reality, I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams to take the dub in this one. Next game up, Mike, we have the Patriots at the Dolphins. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to steal a knock-knock joke I saw somewhere this morning. Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady who?
Exactly. The Patriots have been getting it done, and I think that's a testament to Bill Belichick and his coaching abilities here. You look at the Dolphins. Well, not so much. I mean, I get it. They're eliminated here. The Patriots are going to be in Miami for this one here, but the Patriots, still have something to prove here, and they can still improve their position in the playoffs here at 10-6, 6-1 on the road with a rookie quarterback. Are you kidding me? You look at the rookie quarterback, though, and he's not a top 10 guy. He's not a flashy guy, but they're putting him in a position to be successful. Shorter throws, getting him going, getting the team around him going. There's no real other superstar on this team offensively. Mac Jones, number 23 on the ranking here. Tua Tagovailoa, number 20. Again, I know you're impressed with the pronunciation. Number 20 on the rankings here. Looking at the running back situation, this is where it gets a little spotty as well here, because neither team has really dominated in the running game. And, at times it's been one guy or the other. Who's it going to be? Ramondre Stevenson is probably your best bet for the Patriots, number 31 on the ranking. And Duke Johnson's probably your best bet for Miami at number 42 on the ranking. So might not see any playing time for me in a running back situation in this game. But Jalen Waddle's the best receiver on the field, number 16 on the ranking. And then on the other side of the ball, I have to go like in the 30s to a Jacoby Myers, so maybe a flex for you. And looking at the tight end position, this is where there's a little money to be made. Mike Gesicki, number 8 on the rankings here, and Hunter Henry's been a blessing for them in New England, number 12 on the rankings. Looking at this game, I'm just going to go with the better team overall, and that's the Patriots.
Yeah, and in true Bill Belichick fashion, I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to believe, but it's true. And what I'm saying in this is the fact that the Patriots not only can make the playoffs with this game, but they can be the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. They can go from not being in the playoffs to being the number 1 seed. They become the number 1 seed in the AFC. If they win, Buffalo loses or ties, Kansas City loses and Tennessee loses. I don't see it happening, but I'm just saying, stranger things have happened for the person that seems to have made a deal with the devil. They clinched the AFC East division title with a win and Buffalo loses or ties, or New England ties and Buffalo loses. So plenty of ways for them to get into winning the AFC East or the entire AFC for the New England Patriots. But remember, all Buffalo has to do to win the division is win. That's all they have to do. Win, baby, win, in the words of Al Davis. So with that being said, to take a look at this matchup, I got to give props to, again, Bill Belichick. He brings any quarterback into this system, and he can find a way to make them successful. They leave the system, Matt Castle and Jimmy Garoppolo and so on and so forth. They don't always look the same. Jimmy was the best, but he couldn't stay healthy. Mac Jones has value in this game because of what it means, but I have him as a lower end 1, higher end 2. Jacoby Myers has some value in this as well in PPR and whatnot. Hunter Henry has value in the matchup, and Ramondre Stevenson also has some value here on the ground for the team. So I like all of that. On Miami side of it, Jalen Waddle, hard to keep off, and Mike Gesicki. Outside of that, tanking for Tua hasn't really worked out for the Miami Dolphins. I'm going with the Patriots, who are going to try to pull off the impossible, which is what they seem to always find a way to do under Bill Belichick. So Buffalo, all you got to do is win. Seattle at Arizona, what do you got?
Yeah, Arizona, this is a team that's been resilient to, injuries. I know they went on like a 4-game losing streak there, but they just did have a big victory over the Cowboys here, and that's got them rolling over in Arizona. Looking at the, quarterback situation, this is the heartbeat of the team. Kyler Murray, number 2 on the ranking. Russell Wilson's been having a very un-Russell Wilson type year for himself. Number 18 on the ranking this week. Looking at the running back situation, Rashad Penny has been the guy as of late that you want from Seattle, but he's been spotty as well. Chase Edmonds has been sharing the injury bench with James Conner. It's James Conner's turn on the injury bench, and he gets right in there. Chase Edmonds does. And number 17 on the ranking. Looking at the wide receiver position here, Christian Kirk is the guy you're going to want this week from Arizona. Number 21 on the ranking. And then maybe an A.J. Green as well at 154 years old, still getting it done. Tyler Lockett on the other side of the field is your best bet this week. Number 24 on the rankings. I can't find a tight end on either team that I want to start, so I'm going to pass. I'm going to take Arizona at home.
Arizona needs more help than the Rams. Like I said before, the Rams clinch the NFC West if they win or tie, or Arizona loses or ties. Arizona has to win, and the Rams have to lose to the Niners at home. So Arizona in the playoffs, but if they want to clinch the West, they have to rely on the Rams and not just themselves in this game. Taking a look at it, Seattle is bounced from the playoffs. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf have value in this one. That's really all I see. And then Russell Wilson has some value, but it's been a down year. On the others, and they might put Geno Smith out there. Frick, what do they have to lose? They are not going to the playoffs. So on Arizona's side, Kyler Murray, everything to play for. Chase Edmonds with James Conner still on the injury report. If Conner's able to go, just watch that. Zach Ertz, will it worth the play? Christian Kirk and A.J. Green, I have them as lower-end wide receivers, but not bad to put out there in a game where they need the help, and DeAndre's been on the injury report. So a lot of value in Ertz, Murray, and Conner if he's able to go, Chase Edmonds, and then some value with Green and Kirk. I'm going with the Cardinals at home. Love to see them win the division, but like I said, they need the Rams to lose, and Mike and I do not think that's going to happen. Mike will take one final step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan and Tortora, where sports meets life. When we spin back around, we will be here with you with the final 2 games of the regular season. Now 18 weeks for the first time ever inside of the NFL.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecabal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every single time. Make your way out to the Millhouse Market and make sure you download their app on the Google Play or Apple App Store so you have everything at your fingertips so that you can connect with all of their menu, from their homemade desserts and breads to quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, they are there for you on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And now proudly back open as of yesterday after the holiday season. So get out there and enjoy some Millhouse Market today with their indoor dining and bistro menu that changes every week, their general store with local products from local companies, as well as their drive-up, drive-through window, grab your food and go. Socially distanced, contactless pay, and very easy to do. The Millhouse Market, giving us so many options and so many ways to connect with them today. Support local the right way at the Millhouse Market on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every single time. With that being said, Mike and I back here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you for our two final games of the regular season, and the first time we've ever had an 18-week regular season, 17 games apiece instead of 16, and we have two more to go. Carolina at Tampa inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. Mike, Carolina at Tampa, what do you got?
Yeah, a tale of two different teams again here, opposite directions they're heading in, and they're both led by quarterbacks that, well, we had high regard for Sam Darnold, or at least we thought, till the train wreck happened in New York with the Jets, and then he comes over to Carolina, and then he's injured, and he's not playing well. They bring in Cam Newton. Now it's back to Darnold. I just don't know what the future of Carolina football is. I know the future is now for Tampa Bay and the GOAT, Tom Brady, number 5 on the rankings. And again, Sam Darnold, not so much, way down in the 20s. I'm staying away. Looking at the running back situation here, Chuba Hubbard and Amir Abdullah kind of cannibalize each other there. They're both in the 30s. They really miss Christian McCaffrey. And for Tampa, well, they really miss Leonard Fournette. Ronald Jones is probably going to be the man again here until the playoffs hit. But Ronald Jones, number 38 on the ranking, so I'm not highly invested there. A guy I am invested in, though, is Mike Evans. He usually gets it done when he's healthy. He's back to health now, number 11 on the rankings. Carolina, DJ Moore, I think they're going to be playing from behind, so they're going to be throwing the ball more. So DJ Moore is going to be as high as number 15 on the ranking. Robbie Anderson, big disappointment this year. He's way down in the 40s. And the best tight end on the field is Rob Gronkowski, number 4 on the rankings for Tampa Bay. I don't see how you can pick the Panthers in this one. We've seen funnier things happen, but, I'm going to go with the GOAT at home, Tampa. I'm going with the Brady and the Bucks.
Chuba Hubbard and DJ Moore have some value, but not much to me in this week. Tampa has the value. Tampa's already got things locked up. They know that they're going to be, I believe, the 3 seed here in the NFC, so they don't have anything they have to do in this one. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, all worth the plays in this one. Mr. Grayson also has some value in this as a little sneaky play as a flex for the Tampa Bay Bucks. They have a lot of injuries right now. When you take a look at, you have an ankle injury to Ronald Jones. Keyshawn Vaughn has a rib injury. Giovanni Bernard still on injured reserve. Leonard Fournette is on injured reserve as well. So Le'Veon Bell looks to be the guy. Here's the comedy of it all. The 2 problems with the Steelers that seemed like head cases became the 2 guys that were on Tampa teammates again, Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, until Antonio Brown took his shirt off and whipped it around his head, spun it like a helicopter. So Le'Veon Bell now looking to be your running back in Tampa. I lean on Tom Brady, Mike Evans, and Rob Gronkowski for fantasy. I have the Bucks winning this game. And our final game of the regular 18-week season, making history in the NFL and on fantasy football here with the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. We have the Chargers at the Raiders. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, both teams have something to play for here. Both teams at 9-7. Both teams kind of mirror each other in a way, but not so much a quarterback. I think Justin Herbert's the better quarterback here by far. He's number 4 on the ranking this week. Derek Carr checks in at number 13. Running backs, they both have excellent running backs. Josh Jacobs is doing a bang-up job this year, number 7 on the ranking. Meanwhile, Austin Eckler is at number 5, and he's usually up there in the top 5 week in, week out. Looking at the wide receiver rankings, Hunter Renfrow keeps turning it on week in, week out for me. Excellent daily play as well. He's number 12 on the ranking this week. Keenan Allen, he's the number 1 for the Chargers. He's at number 8 on the ranking. And Mike Williams, a dominant number 2 on that team. He's number 20 on the wide receiver rankings. And I don't have a tight end on either team I'm excited to start. Disappointed there, but I'm going to take the Chargers on the road in Vegas.
Yeah, neither one of these teams is going to win the division. We said before the Chiefs have it. But the Raiders will get into the playoffs with a win or a tie plus an Indianapolis loss, which I don't think is going to happen, or an Indianapolis loss plus a Pitt loss or tie, which I don't think that's going to happen. So Vegas just has to win. The Chargers clinch a playoff berth with a win or a tie. So Chargers have an easier path to get there. All they have to do is win or tie. They don't need they don't have any other options. It's just win. Where the Raiders have to win, they do have some. I should say the Raiders have more of a chance because they have 3 shots at it. But the Chargers, if they win this thing, they can clinch it and move forward. Both teams have something to play for, as Mike said. Justin Herbert worth the play. Austin Eckler as well. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams back out there for the team. All worth the play for you. For Vegas, Josh Jacobs worth the play, and Hunter Renfrow, who I told you a long time ago, Hans McGee, when I watched him play at the Camping World Stadium, when in the ACC Championship he helped bail out Deshaun Watson numerous times along with Deion Kane. So a lot of value on both sides. I'm going to lean on the Chargers to get into the playoffs in this matchup as Justin Herbert, who has been close and did some things last season to get right there. I think this time around he gets the team there. Mike and I, for this week, have actually, and we don't see each other's sheets before the conversation, we picked all of the same teams. So Mike and I are either going to be 100% right or 100% wrong together. Well, we're either going to be wrong together or right together is what I should say. And so hopefully we go 16-0. With that being said, Mr. Sofka, as always, we are undefeated as a team, and I appreciate you being here and hanging out with me inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios for the Fantasy Football Power Hour, as always, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Yeah, I look forward to talking with you next time. And remember, folks, I know you're going to be jonesing after this week. I know it's an addiction. There's still daily games, and there's special playoff fantasy games that you can play, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that in the upcoming weeks. Thanks again, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of great stuff coming up, and we'll talk with you soon. For Mike Sofka of Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com and myself, Dan Tortora of WakeUpCallDT.com, and us both of the Winning Fantasy Football Group you can join on Facebook for free. We thank you for tuning into this edition of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. And I want to give a special thanks as we hop out of here today to all of our partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Progressive Dental, Avicoli's Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Pizza Man, Lemoyne Dolphins, Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, Mother's Cupboard, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and PB&J's Lunch Box. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne Dolphins. It's Fins Up all day, day with the Lemoyne Dolphins, and they are, of course, here with us for Dolphin Time, as you heard this morning and saw with Bob Beretta every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. They're hanging out with us inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We thank them for all that they do and are very proud to have AD and DT every first and third Wednesday, and the Dolphin Dive every second and fourth Wednesday on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and as always, Fins Up. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is a proud multimedia marketing partner also of the Marywood University Pacers, and it's Pacer Pride every single Friday on the broadcast. Tuning into the Marywood Pacers, who will be joining us this week with a special. Very excited to have the Marywood Pacers with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Check out our Pacer Pride exclusive episodes on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and on and as well as by going to wakeupcalldt.com and clicking on the Marywood tab. And of course, find out more information at marywoodpacers.com. Want to thank you all for tuning into the show every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. YouTube, Facebook, and mixlr.com, all /wakeupcalldt. And on facebook.com /livenowdt, as well as on the homepage of wakeupcalldt.com. And once the shows go live, you can check us out in the archives by going to Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, YouTube, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and more. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. For now, for Mike Sofka, as well as for Bob Beretta, and for you, thank you so much for joining us inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. God bless, no stress, do your best. Find us on social media. Be good, be well, be safe, be you. I'll talk with you soon. God bless. Have a good day.